Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Anthony Cacace stops Leigh Wood in round 9 in their super featherweight contest. Leigh Wood's first fight at super featherweight. Could he jump that gap? Could he make his power count in the new weight class? Would he look better cutting a little bit less weight? The answer was a resounding no. Anthony Cacace, for my money, dominated this fight. I don't think you could have given Leigh Wood more than 2 rounds in this bout prior to the stoppage. I think I only gave Leigh Wood like 1 round, which was round 4. To me, this fight looked like... Obviously, both guys are 36 years old, but Leigh Wood looked like an old 36 years old. I know he's been inactive, but... I don't know, he's had a longer career, a harder career. He's been stopped before, had some really hard fights. He's taken a fair bit of punishment, and I felt he just looked like an old fighter in there, whereas Cacace looked like a guy who is still in and around his prime, who's coming off momentum, who's coming off activity, who's been busy. He looked a lot more switched on, a lot sharper, a lot stronger, a lot fitter, timing was better, accuracy was better, just better in every regards in my opinion, faster. He really looked better in every department, plus he looked stronger at the weight in my opinion, held a shot better. First sort of 3 rounds were kind of tit for tat, but I could tell from round 1 that Leigh Wood's shape was off. I felt Leigh Wood in this bout he was reaching with his punches. Particularly the straight shots, obviously, like leaning in with a jab, leaning in with a straight right. Whereas Cacace was a lot more loose with it. He was taking the half step back right from round 1. He was countering Leigh Wood's jab because, like I said, Leigh Wood would fall in with the jab. He would throw it out of range. And when he would bring the jab back, he wouldn't bring it back to his chin. And right from round 1, Cacace found a home for his overhand right, countering the jab. Picking holes in Leigh Wood's defense, and early on he was a little more back foot heavy than we're used to seeing from Cacace in his recent fights. He was kind of moving and countering basically in the early rounds, and I felt he was having success doing that. Leigh Wood landed some body shots here and there, got through with a couple of jabs here and there, but all the quality work was coming from Cacace. Round 2, he hurt Leigh Wood slightly. I don't think the commentary team clocked it, but he kind of caught Leigh Wood with a overhand right that Leigh Wood walked right into. Kind of locked up his legs for a split second. And there was numerous moments like that throughout this fight where he would just kind of stop Leigh Wood in his tracks. Leigh Wood had a better round in round 4. He actually he was applying more pressure, I'd say. Again, trying to throw body shots, trying to make it a little rougher. Cacace was still a little circumspect in round 4. Still trying to counter, and he was doing so. He was catching Leigh Wood coming in, but I felt Leigh Wood's output in round 4 was a bit better, and maybe that stole him the round. After round 4, I felt Cacace started to hold centre ring more. He was actually switching at times between southpaw and orthodox. Primarily boxing in orthodox, and he was busting Leigh Wood up with the jab. He was doubling up the jab, at times trebling the jab. And every time Cacace would throw the jab, it felt like it would split Leigh Wood's guard, which was very porous in this fight, very wide. You know, it was like Cacace was punching through Leigh Wood at times. It looked so much stronger for my money. And Cacace was starting to hold centre ring, hold his own with Leigh Wood, starting to work the body as well, jab to the body in particular, really good shot, hooks to the body of course, and he was still mixing that in with aggressive counter-punching. Also, by the mid-rounds, the uppercut started to play its toll as well, Cacace landing that shot, again, particularly when Leigh Wood was falling short, man, kind of falling over his lead knee, just a sitting duck, you know, for every single shot in the book. And Cacace, for me, was having his way with Leigh Wood. There was one more round where Leigh Wood kind of had like a mini final stand. It might have been round 7 where Leigh Wood basically tried to rush the body, throwing a lot of right hooks to the body of Cacace, trying to force something, you know, trying to drag Cacace into a war. But even then, I felt that would be a recipe for disaster anyway, because Cacace just looked stronger, and every time these guys exchanged, Cacace, for my money, got the better of it. He landed the more eye-catching shots, and for me, the shots were doing more damage. And, you know, round 9, Leigh Wood was caught by, I think it was a left hook, badly hurt him. Cacace jumps on him, lands a series of punches, delayed reaction. Leigh Wood kind of falls back into the ropes. Ropes keep him up. It's a knockdown. After that, Leigh Wood tries to fight on. He tries to fight fire with fire. Cacace's too strong, pushes him off, makes himself space, and the punch variety is very good. Uppercuts through the middle. There was a sickening body shot that nearly doubled Leigh Wood over. He was changing levels with his attack when Leigh Wood was hurt. Body to head, head to body. Cacace just chasing Leigh Wood all over the ring. Wood couldn't get his legs. Badly hurt. Running away towards the end of the assault. Turning his back, and yeah, Leigh Wood's corner, Ben Davison, threw in the towel, and I think that was right, because when you're running like that, he basically turned his back and kind of ran to the other side of the ring almost. And yeah, when you do that, I think that's a sign of submission. I think the corner did the right thing. Leigh Wood was badly hurt. He was spent, for my money, and he looked like an old fighter. Yeah, both guys are 36, but, you know, Leigh Wood's had a harder career. Cacace's had less fights. Cacace's also been more busy recently as well. And I'll be honest, I just think Cacace has a good style for Leigh Wood. I think his style would always give Leigh Wood trouble anyway. I think I'd always pick Cacace to beat Leigh Wood. And yeah, we got this one right, so I'm happy about that. Last weekend, my predictions were stinkers, so to speak. So yeah, you know, is what it is. Is what it is. We got one right. Decent fight, you know, Leigh Wood tried his best for what he had left, but I don't think he's got much left, you know? So, listen, I think Leigh Wood should retire at this point in time. I think he's done. I think if he sticks around, particularly in that division, he's on a hiding to nothing. I mean, what fights are there for him? What fights are there for Leigh Wood anymore? Could they do a Warrington rematch? I don't think anybody cares, quite frankly. Could they tempt Michael Conlon up for a cash-out fight at Super Featherweight? Again, who really cares? Listen, I think Leigh Wood is done, and I think he should call it a day. As for Anthony Cacace, I want him in there with a world champion. In fact, I would still like to see the fight against Sugar Nunes, Eduardo Nunes, the guy he was supposed to fight before he vacated the IBF title. Nunes is fighting in Japan end of May against Rikishi for the vacant IBF Super Featherweight title. I'd love to see Cacace versus Nunes. Nunes is a monster puncher, a really, really big puncher, pressure fighter. Get those two guys together, Cacace and Nunes, it'll be a great fight in my opinion. So yeah, man. Aside from Nunes, man, there's other options there at Super Featherweight. Navarrete would be a big payday, fun fight. There's fights there for him. Oshaki Foster. So yeah. Anyway, share your thoughts below. What were your thoughts on this fight? Beanie Guy Delboy. Peace.